YouTube, LD50 here, about another video, and today we're going to revisit Lazy Moze. I've had a little bit of a think about the build, and I've updated it a little bit, and now it's called Less Lazy Moze. And the reason is that it takes a little bit more effort or skill to use the build, but there is a significant increase in damage. The first build was exclusively SMGs, Malaban SMGs, the flipper. This build, there are a few other options that will work. So we'll have a quick look at the gear, we'll have a look at the skills, and we may go and do a quick run through a map or something. But obviously at the front of the video you saw a bit of hardcore action from the hardest content of the game. This is a very viable build. This will take on anything. So let's jump right in. So the type of gear that you're going to look for are fast firing, fairly high damage weapons with reasonably deep magazines. You can use this build with a variety of comms, but I tend to use it with the Blastmaster for most applications, with a point in redistribution. So my objective is to fire for as long as possible without reloading, to keep the DPS up, because obviously reloading is lost DPS. So stuff like the light show, the flipper obviously that was on the original build. The unending boogeyman is a fantastic choice, because the boogeyman has built-in ammo regen anyway. The Chaosan is good. It does plenty of splash damage from the little bombs, which will proc redistribution, and the other skill, means of destruction. So those type of weapons you can use. Other options would be plasma coil, monarch. As I said, the boogeyman. I find that a light show or a flipper is certainly strong enough to get up from fight for your life with, so I don't tend to run any type of fight for your life weapon with this build. Then shield wise, I heartily recommend a super soldier, and I recommend the after exiting Iron Bear kills, increase Iron Bear's cooldown rate by 30%. And the reason is it's fairly easy to keep this shield up, and to get the fire rate, ammo regeneration and movement speed bonus. We're not using it to abuse it. We're not going to use an action skill start. We're going to have Iron Cub out, and then when Iron Cub is on cooldown, obviously we'll be getting damage from skills like Big Surplus. So we're not really using action skill start anointments, or action skill end anointments, anything like that. All of the weapons I would recommend you go for consecutive hits. You could use action skill active, but bear in mind that you need to be holding that weapon when you activate the action skill. So yeah, I think that the exiting Iron Bear anointment is the best one for this particular build. Com wise, Blastmaster is a very good option. It's very easy to maintain the 100% splash damage, and this com has at one point in redistribution, so I urge you to try to find at least, make sure you have that one point in redistribution, and then the other points preferably in vampire. We're going to just use a pearl. It's a DLC 2 item, but it is the best thing. Some people use company men, but then you have to stick to a particular weapon manufacturer, and also on body shots the pearl outperforms the company man, and you're not going to hit crits all of the time. And then we always use our cloning magnet tracker. Skill wise, now we've dumped a lot of points out of the purple tree since last time, and we're really only coming down to get fuel for the fire. That's just to help keep Iron Cub alive. We're not really getting as much duration for Iron Cub, but we are getting fairly good cooldown. Iron Cub is getting plenty of damage from a different skill. We were working our way all the way down to feature creep on the previous build, but we're not doing any of that. The super soldier is giving us movement speed. It's giving us fire rate bonus. So yeah, I don't think we need to come down the purple tree, apart from to get this augment here, fuel for the fire, to help keep Iron Cub alive. So there we go, that's what we've done on the purple tree this time. The blue tree, pretty much as we had it before. Let me take the com off for now, so that you can see exactly which skill points have been put in. I always put a single point into Vampire, because then if you're not using the Blastmaster, you at least have a single point there for some health regen. We have tried this build with Tool Cross Promotion, but we find that we kill ourselves more often than not. So the other slight difference from the previous build is we're only putting a couple of points into Grizzled, because we wanted to put a few more points into explosive punctuation to give us this extra action skill cooldown. On our green tree, we have gone down a little bit further this time. So notably, we've gone all the way down to Specialist Bear, which is going to give us a plus 60% damage to Iron Cub, because Iron Cub by default has two versions of the same weapon. And we've also put some points into Russian Offensive, so that we can get a bit of lifesteal, and we can sprint and shoot at the same time, and some points into Scorching RPMs for the extra fire rate and critical hit damage. And then finally, we've also put 5 points into Scrappy for another 30% weapon damage while moving, and you know, you're moving most of the time. And then finally, in the red tree, we have come down and put a single point into experimental munitions, which we didn't before. Before, we only came down as far as Drowning and Brass, so we've come down that little bit extra just to give us 15% more in incendiary damage on critical hits. So this build is putting out a bit more damage than the previous iteration. The previous iteration was called Lazy Moze because you deployed Iron Cub. There was some skills there to keep Iron Cub going a bit further. We had plenty of cooldown, and it was very much a point and shoot. We only really used the flipper, we only really used the Blastmaster. But this build, you will find that obviously you have to manage Iron Cub a little bit. Make sure that you try to manage the timeout for him, so that it coincides with your combat activity. And then com-wise, we have got various Blastmasters. This one's a general purpose Blastmaster, which means we can use it with the pistols and the sniper rifles as well, and obviously with the Monarch. And we've got an SMG version, which is just for SMGs. The flare is another com that's not bad. You're getting 100% extra damage whilst Iron Cub is out. The green monster is another option. It works as a Blastmaster underneath. However, because it doesn't boost redistribution, you may find that the Blastmaster effect isn't as good. I'm not a great fan of the green monster. Bloodletter, well, if you want to play a 1 HP or a URAD build rather than consecutive hits, if that's your thing, then that's not a bad option. But we're not really going down into the red tree as such. You can use a Bear Trooper if you want to concentrate on having Iron Cub do more of the damage. And then obviously you can use a Minesweeper. I wouldn't go for one with anything in talk cross promotion there. I find that you kill yourself more often than not. But points in fire and skag then is always very good, and obviously if you can get points in redistribution, helps with ammo regen, which means that you can fire for longer without reloading. So that is our skill tree. It's a little bit different from last time. We've lost putting points into the purple tree, and we've now gone down into the green tree a bit further, and a little bit extra down into the red tree, and rejigged a little bit the blue tree here, taking points from grizzled and putting them down into explosive punctuation. So, and we are playing with our guardian rank turned on, and we are playing on Mayhem 11. So what we'll do is we'll pop over to somewhere, run through, do a little bit of combat, and possibly recap at the end. So I'll see you somewhere in just a moment. Welcome back. Here we are at Jack's VIP Tower in the Handsome Jack DLC. One thing to note before we go forward, we haven't discussed Iron Cub's weapons. For this build, I highly recommend capacitive armature. If you go down and you use Let Off Some Steam, General Winter, and especially exploding bullets, you will find that Iron Cub will kill itself more often than not. The same with Salamander. These are all weapons that it will end up killing itself with, and the reason being is it doesn't, the AI is not good enough to figure out that there's a rock in front, or a box, or a mound, or something, and so anything with splash damage on it like that will down it. However, capacitive armature seems to go through items and is much less likely to cause damage to Iron Cub. So that's why we use capacitive armature. Right, so we're going to run through the VIP tower all the way through to the jackpot. And we're using our Blastmaster for this. We used the flipper for a while. What else have we got? Let's have a look. We've got this boogeyman. We'll give that a go. Although it's not best against armour, being radiation, of course. But doesn't care. We've got Monarch on as well. Although Iron Cub doing a lot of the heavy lifting for us. And everything dies. Yeah, it's pretty much point and shoot. So it's still fairly lazy. But as you can see, we've lost Iron Cub at the moment, so we need to make sure that we get him back before we proceed to the last area. We'll take the elevator up though. I'd imagine we'll use the Monarch for the first phase, and then we'll maybe finish him off with this light show here. We've got our Iron Cub back. I think Iron Cub probably finished the jackpot off there. But as you can see, build is nice and strong. Plenty of damage on Mayhem 11. I think it's an improvement over the previous build. All that means is you have to manage Iron Cub a little bit more. I think Iron Cub's damage is comparable. And that is because we have managed to get down to Specialist Bear, which gives us extra 60% damage to Iron Bear, and obviously that applies to Iron Cub. So there we go, that's the less Lazy Moze build, using some other weapons apart from the flipper this time. So we had Light Show, we've had Boogeyman, we've had Monarch, we've had Flipper, we've had the Chaosin. Using a super soldier's shield to give us movement speed, fire rate and ammo regeneration. Not so much the protective barrier, we're not using this with an action skill start. We were using a Blastmaster there, but as we've discussed, you can use pretty much any comm that you like depending on your playstyle. Minesweeper, or a Bear Trooper, or a Flare if you're more Iron Cub based. I like the Blastmaster or the Minesweeper personally. Using a Pearl, using a cloning maddening tracker for the OGT anointment, and also for proccing Vampire. That was our green tree, purple tree, blue tree, red tree, as I said, playing on Mayhem 11. So there we go. I've been LD50, you've been lovely. If you've enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Leave me a like, it really helped me out and give me some motivation to make more videos. So I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.